Jay, Tom Morgan, former district attorney of DeKalb County, Georgia, is with us now. Look, we got to talk about the charges themselves as it relates to this, Tom, and I appreciate you being with us. Much has been made of this racketeer influence corrupt organization charge, and there's two bars, right, that Fani Willis needs to meet. One is that in a court of law, you got to prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Then you've got to prove in the court of public opinion to people who don't necessarily like Donald Trump, but don't like a weaponization of the American justice system, that these crimes were so egregious they had to be prosecuted. That there is just no question. There was no prosecutorial discretion. This just rise to such a level. And the more I read about the RICO statute in Georgia and how broad it is, the more it feels like this might be just a little bit of too cute by half by a district attorney who spent 2 years investigating and then was beat to the grand jury, if you will, by a federal prosecutor.
I know Ms. Willis. We were colleagues as district attorneys. I've also tried cases against her. She's a formidable opponent in the courtroom. As a former district attorney, I can tell you, you don't pick and choose the cases. The evidence comes to you, and then you have to decide where to proceed and how to proceed. As far as the U.S. Attorney Jack Smith in D.C., I can tell you as a state prosecutor, state prosecutors and federal prosecutors are like oil and water. They do not mix. Ms. Willis has said she's never met Mr. Smith, never talked to him, and wouldn't know him if he walked into her office. And I firmly believe that. It's just they're different systems. We have parallel systems in this country, and she just had to take the evidence as it goes. I prosecuted the first corrupt public official in Georgia under the RICO statute. You make an excellent point. It is a broad, encompassing statute. There are more opportunities to prosecute political corruption in Georgia than there is in the federal case.
I have to say, I can't keep my eyes off of your background because it is a beautiful evening in Georgia as we look out over. I think those are the Smoky Mountains. It just caught my eye to say. But I'm interested because you make the point that this is a broad statute and there's a lot of prosecutorial discretion here. What do you make of the thoughts? And we've heard this from Atlanta residents. Donnell Suggs, who's editor of the Atlanta Voice, said even a lot of residents in Fulton County, people who voted for Fani Willis, would say, look, this is being tried and this is being investigated by the feds. The spending of local resources here really is a disservice to the people of Fulton County who could use a prosecutor's office spending those resources on putting murderers and robbers and rapists and everybody else away. It is an either or. It's not an and situation.
No, it is not an either or because the Fulton County commissioners gave Ms. Willis all the money that she needed to conduct this investigation. And let me just say why I personally believe this case needs to be tried in state court instead of federal court. It's because what we are doing right now, it's on television. These charges, whether there's evidence or not to substantiate them, should be decided not only by a jury, but in the court of public opinion. I am old enough to remember the Watergate hearings when Senator Sam Ervin of North Carolina really cascaded the president. At the time, the country was then divided, but after hearing the evidence. I don't know what the evidence is in this case, but I like to see it for myself. I don't want a reporter telling me what the evidence was after he or she saw it in courtroom. I believe we as a nation, we should see this evidence and judge for ourselves instead of having someone tell us what they saw in the courtroom.
Well, far be it from any journalist to argue against transparency and cameras in the courtroom. We may see it sooner rather than later, at least by the standards that we've heard. October 13th, possibly for a trial date. Fani Willis says she's ready to go to trial. Is there any chance that actually happens?
Well, one of the defendants, Mr. Chesbro, has filed a demand for speedy trial, which means that this case has to be decided by the end of the term, which would be at the end of October. And so the judge this afternoon set down an order saying at least that case will be decided in October. Now, typically what happens is that all the other defendants have to join in unless the judge grants them a motion to severance. So let me tell you, we will have at least our first view of what the evidence is in this case in less than 2 months, which is absolutely amazing.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.